My name is Rachel Martinez and I'm 34 years old. 3 days ago, I stood in a divorce court and watched my husband's face crumble as the judge granted me everything I asked for. The house, the car, full possession of our joint accounts, and full custody of our financial records, which my lawyer very carefully explained would be crucial for the IRS investigation that's now underway. My ex-husband, David Martinez, walked out of that courtroom with nothing but his clothes and a legal bill that will haunt him for the next decade. Our neighbor Jessica Chen's husband, Marcus, walked out of his courtroom 3 hours later in the exact same position. Before I tell you how we got here, before I tell you about the alliance, the evidence, and the absolutely surgical way we dismantled our husbands' lives, you need to understand how I almost missed it. How I almost lived the rest of my life as the woman who didn't know. It was a Tuesday night in March, 3 years ago. David came home at 11:47 p.m. I remember because I was watching the numbers change on the bedside clock, the way you do when you're waiting for someone. "Sorry, babe," he said, kissing my forehead. He smelled like mint and cologne. Client dinner ran late. Thompson from the Seattle office was in town. I'd heard about Thompson. Multiple Thompsons, actually. Thompson from Seattle. Thompson from Boston. Thompson from San Diego. The clients who required late Tuesday and Thursday dinners that somehow always ran past midnight. "How was it?" I asked. "Exhausting. I'm going to shower." He always showered when he got home from these dinners. "Wash off the restaurant smell," he'd say. I lay in bed listening to the water run and told myself what I'd been telling myself for months. Trust is the foundation of marriage. He works hard. I'm being paranoid. This is what insecurity looks like, and I'm better than that. I believed it for 3 years. We'd moved to the house in Redmond, Washington 5 years ago. A quiet cul-de-sac, good schools even though we didn't have kids yet, the kind of neighborhood where people actually waved to each other. The Chens lived 3 houses down. Marcus was in tech, traveled for work constantly. Jessica was a dental hygienist with a smile that belonged in toothpaste commercials. She'd brought us cookies the day we moved in. Homemade snickerdoodles in a basket with a ribbon. "Welcome to the neighborhood," she'd said. "If you need anything, we're number 47. We became casual friends. The kind who chat while getting mail, wave from car windows, exchange Christmas cards. Our husbands met at the neighborhood 4th of July barbecue. David and Marcus talked about golf, about work, about the Seahawks. Normal guy stuff. "Marcus seems cool," David said that night. "Jessica's sweet," I said. We had no idea we were building the foundation of our own destruction. The late night started about 6 months later. Tuesdays and Thursdays, like clockwork. David was in commercial real estate, and he explained that these particular clients preferred dinner meetings. "Why always Tuesdays and Thursdays?" I asked once. "That's when they're in town." "Look, if it bothers you, I can try to." No. I trust you. I just miss you." "I miss you too, babe. This deal closes in a few months, and things will calm down." The deal closed. Things didn't calm down. New clients. Same schedule. I threw myself into my own work. I'm a freelance graphic designer, mostly corporate clients, and I started taking on more projects. If David was working late, I might as well be productive too. Years passed. We were good, I thought. We took vacations, had date nights when he wasn't working, talked about starting a family soon. I pushed down the little voice that asked why soon kept getting pushed back. 3 months ago, I got insomnia. Not the kind where you can't fall asleep. The kind where you wake up at 2 a.m. and your brain starts running through every design project, every deadline, every conversation you had that day, and won't shut off. I'd get up, make tea, sit by the window in our living room and wait for tired to come back. That's how I saw it. March 14th, 2:18 a.m. I was sitting in my usual spot, chamomile tea cooling in my hands, looking out at the quiet street. And there was David's car. His Tesla, the one with the custom plates he'd been so proud of, deal one, in Jessica Chen's driveway. I blinked, looked again, still there. My first thought wasn't a fare. My first thought was, maybe he's helping Marcus with something. Maybe there's an emergency. I checked my phone. No texts. No calls. No, hey babe, Marcus needed help with something. I'm just down the street. I looked at Jessica's house. One light on upstairs. Bedroom window. I sat there for 4 to 7 minutes. I know because I watched the clock. At 3:05 a.m., David's car was still there. I went upstairs. Our bed was empty, cold. I checked his location on Find My iPhone, the app we'd both installed for safety years ago. His phone showed him at home. But his car was 3 houses down. That's when I knew. Not suspected. Knew. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. When David came home at 6:30 a.m., the time he usually left for the gym on Wednesday mornings, I was in the kitchen making coffee. "Morning," he said, kissing my cheek. "You're up early." "Couldn't sleep." "Everything okay?" I looked at him. My husband of 7 years. The man I'd built a life with. "Fine," I said. "Just restless." "You should try melatonin. Jessica recommended this brand to me. Said it works great." "Jessica," he said her name so casually, so comfortably. "When did you talk to Jessica about sleep aids?" "Oh, just neighborly chat. I ran into her at the store." He was so smooth, so practiced. I wondered how many lies I'd swallowed over 3 years. How many Thompsons were actually Jessica. "Good idea," I said. "I'll ask her about it." Something flickered in his eyes. "Or I can just grab you some next time I'm out." I spent that day in a fog. Went through the motions of white calls, design revisions, client emails. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his car in her driveway. Thursday night, David had another late meeting. "Thompson again?" I asked. "Yeah. This deal is finally coming together though." He left at 6:45 p.m. At 7:30, I went for a walk. Casual, just getting some air. I walked past Jessica's house. Marcus's car wasn't in the driveway. Her living room light was on. I kept walking, cycled the block, came home. At 10 p.m., David texted, running late. "Don't wait up." At 2:15 a.m., I was at my window again. Insomniac routine. 2:43 a.m., David's Tesla pulled into Jessica's driveway. This time, I didn't wait 4 to 7 minutes. I put on a cardigan over my pajamas, slipped on my rain boots. It was drizzling, and grabbed my phone. I walked down the street to number 47. Through her front window, I could see into the living room. 2 wine glasses on the coffee table. David's jacket, the gray one with the suede elbow patches I'd given him for his birthday, draped over her couch. I took a photo, then another. Then I opened my photo app and started screenshotting everything. Timestamps, location, the works. I was on screenshot number 47 when the front door opened. Jessica stood there in a silk robe, hair messed up, face ghost white. "Rachel," she whispered. Behind her, I heard footsteps running upstairs. Heavy, male, desperate. "This isn't what it looks like," she said. I held up my phone, showing her the screenshots. "Jessica," I said calmly, "where's your husband right now?" Her face crumbled. Not an answer. Confirmation. "Business trip," she whispered. "He's in Austin until Friday." "Tuesdays and Thursdays," I said. "Marcus has always gone Tuesdays and Thursdays." She started crying. "How long?" I asked. "Rachel." "How long?" 3 years. The number hit me like a physical thing. 3 years. 3 years of Tuesday and Thursday Thompsons. 3 years of late dinners and client meetings. 3 years of me being the trusting wife while my husband was 3 houses down, in another woman's bed. "I'm sorry," Jessica sobbed. "I'm so sorry. It just happened and then it kept happening and—" "Is David upstairs?" She nodded, miserable. "Good. I need you to listen to me very carefully." She looked up, confused. "I have 47 screenshots on my phone right now. Timestamped photos of David's car in your driveway at 2:47 a.m. His jacket on your couch. You in a robe answering the door while he runs upstairs. That's more than enough for any divorce lawyer." She went even paler. "But I don't want just enough," I continued. "I want everything. The house, the money, every single thing I'm legally entitled to. And you're going to help me get it." "What?" "When does Marcus get back from Austin?" "Friday morning." "Why?" "Because Marcus deserves to know too. And when he knows, when he has his own evidence, when he's just as angry and betrayed as we are, we're going to work together." Jessica stared at me like I was speaking another language. "You and I said slowly, "are going to gather every piece of evidence. Every text, every photo, every receipt. We're going to document everything. And then we're going to divorce these men so thoroughly, so completely, that they'll wish they'd never heard the word Thompson. I can't. You can. Because Jessica, do you have a prenup? She shook her head. Neither do I. Do you know what that means in Washington state? Community property. 50-50 split of everything acquired during marriage. Unless there's proof of fault. Adultery, specifically. Proof of adultery changes everything. I watched understanding dawn on her face. If you help me, I said, I'll help you. We document everything together. We present it together. We walk away with everything we owed. Or, I held up my phone again. I take what I have right now to my lawyer tomorrow. David panics. They both lawyer up and do damage control. And we end up with whatever scraps they decide to give us. The rain was getting heavier. I was soaked. So was she. What do you need me to do? She whispered. Right now? I need you to go upstairs and tell David to go home. Tell him I'm not here. Tell him it's safe. And tomorrow, you and I are going to have a very long conversation. She nodded. I walked home, let myself in the side door, and went straight upstairs. I heard David's car pull up 15 minutes later. Heard him come in, creep upstairs, slip into bed like he'd been nowhere. I lay perfectly still, eyes closed, breathing steady. Babe, he whispered. I didn't move. He fell asleep within minutes. I stayed awake until dawn, planning. Jessica called me at 9 a.m. the next morning. Can we meet? We met at a coffee shop in Bellevue, 40 minutes away. Somewhere we wouldn't run into anyone from the neighborhood. She looked like she hadn't slept. Neither had I. I don't know why I'm helping you, she said, stirring her coffee for the third time. Yes, you do. Because you're angry too. You're just scared to admit it. I love Marcus. Did you love him on Tuesday nights? She flinched. I'm not judging you, Jessica. I'm not your therapist or your priest. I'm your partner. You're very pissed off, very motivated partner. What if I say no? Then I go forward alone. I file for divorce. I use what I have. David lawyers up, probably tells Marcus himself to get ahead of it, and you're left managing your own mess with no evidence and no plan. She was quiet for a long time. Marcus deserves better than this, she finally said. So do I. I know. She looked up, eyes red. What's the plan? I pulled out a notebook. I'd been up since 5 a.m. mapping it out. Feist, we gather everything. Every communication. You must have texts, emails, something. I'll pull phone records, credit card statements, anything I can access legally. We build a timeline. David and I were careful. We didn't text much. But you communicated somehow. And you met somewhere besides your house, right? Restaurants. Hotels. She nodded slowly. Those leave paper trails. Receipts. Security footage. We get creative. What about Marcus? When do we tell him? After we have everything. He gets home Friday. We give him the weekend to be blindsided, angry, whatever he needs to feel. Then Monday, we present him with the full picture and the plan. He's going to hate me. Probably. But he's going to hate David more. And that's what we need. Over the next 3 days, we became investigators. Jessica gave me access to her home security system. Turns out she had a doorbell camera that logged every time someone came to the door. 3 years of David's car in her driveway, time-stamped and dated. I pulled our credit card statements going back 3 years. Found charges at restaurants on Tuesday and Thursday nights. But they were small charges. 2 drinks, maybe an appetizer. Not full dinners. Where did you actually eat? I asked Jessica. Usually my place. I'd cook. Using what groceries? I'd go to the store on Tuesday afternoons. What store? QFC on 148th. Did you use a rewards card? Her eyes widened. Yes. Perfect. Request your purchase history. Every Tuesday afternoon for 3 years, you bought ingredients for dinner for 2. That's a pattern. She nodded, taking notes. I hired a private investigator. Expensive, but worth it. Gave him David's schedule, the addresses, everything. He'd tail David next Tuesday. Friday morning, Marcus came home from Austin. Jessica called me at 2 p.m. I can't do it. I can't tell him. Then show him. Send him the doorbell footage from last Tuesday. Just that. Nothing else. Let him ask the questions. An hour later, my phone rang. Unknown number. Is this Rachel Martinez? Yes. This is Marcus Chen. I think we need to talk. We met at the same Bellevue coffee shop. Marcus looked like he'd been punched. Jessica sat next to him, shredded tissue in her hands. She showed me the footage, Marcus said. I saw David's car. Tuesday, 2:43 a.m. Thursday, 2:51 a.m. The pattern goes back years. I know. You knew. I found out Tuesday night. That's when I knocked on Jessica's door. He looked at his wife with an expression I never want to see on anyone's face. Betrayal mixed with grief mixed with a kind of death. Jessica told me what you proposed, he said. Some kind of alliance. Yes. Why? Because, Marcus, our spouses didn't just betray us. They planned it. They coordinated. David's late meetings lined up perfectly with your business trips. That's not an accident. That's a system. And if they can work together to deceive us, we can work together to make sure they face consequences. I want a divorce, Marcus said flatly. So do I. Jessica said you mentioned evidence. Documentation. I pulled out my laptop, opened the folder I'd been building. Doorbell footage. Credit card receipts. Phone records showing texts deleted from both their phones. But the phone company keeps metadata, so we know they communicated. We have a PI tailing David next Tuesday. And I looked at Jessica. We have her confession. What? Jessica's head snapped up. Marcus needs leverage, I said. In Washington, adultery isn't technically grounds for an unequal divorce settlement. But it matters. Judges are human. Evidence of fault influences decisions about asset division, especially if we can prove financial deception. Financial deception? Marcus asked. Did David ever give you gifts? I asked Jessica. She looked away. Jewelry. Clothes? Vacations. A bracelet. For my birthday last year. How much? $3,000. I looked at Marcus. That's marital assets. David used community property, money that's half mine, to buy gifts for his mistress. That's financial infidelity. It changes the math. Marcus leaned back. You've thought about this. I've thought about nothing else for 3 days. What do you need from me? Access to your and Jessica's financial records. Documentation of Marcus's travel schedule, the business trips that always fell on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I need you to make a decision. What decision? Are you angry enough to see this through? Because what I'm planning isn't quick. It isn't quiet. It's methodical. It's thorough. And it's going to hurt. Both of them. Socially, financially, emotionally. But it's legal. It's justified. And it will work. Marcus looked at Jessica. She was crying again. Silently. 3 years, he said quietly. She looked me in the eye for 3 years and lied. So did David. Then yes, I'm in. Over the next 2 months, we built a case that would make prosecutors jealous. The PI confirmed that David went to Jessica's house every Tuesday and Thursday. Got photos of him letting himself in with a key. Got photos of them kissing in her doorway. Marcus pulled his travel records. Every Tuesday and Thursday for 3 years, he'd been conveniently out of town. I cross-referenced with David's calendar. Perfect correlation. Jessica, to her credit, stopped trying to justify it and started providing evidence. Gave us her phone. We recovered deleted texts using forensic software. 3 years of can't wait to see you. And Marcus leaves at 6 and I miss you already. We found hotel receipts. Turns out they'd met at a hotel in Tacoma once a month for variety. David had paid with our joint credit card. $3,847 over 3 years. I documented every penny David had spent on Jessica. The bracelet, dinners, flowers delivered to her dental office, charged to our account as client gifts. Total, $12,340 of community property spent on an affair. We hired lawyers. Not the same one, conflict of interest. But we coordinated. Both attorneys were women who specialized in high-asset divorces and had reputations for being absolutely ruthless. My lawyer, Patricia Morrison, looked at the evidence and smiled. This is the most well-documented case I've seen in 20 years. He's going to lose everything. Marcus's lawyer said the same thing. We filed on the same day, April 30th, a Monday. David was served at his office. Marcus served Jessica at home. David called me at 3:47 p.m. Rachel, what the hell is this? Divorce papers. I thought it was pretty clear. Over what? What did I do? You're kidding. I'm serious. If this is about me waking late, it's about you fucking our neighbor for 3 years. Silence. I have footage, David. I have receipts. I have texts. I have a timeline that shows every Tuesday and Thursday for 36 months. Don't insult me by pretending you don't know what I'm talking about. Let me explain. Explain to your lawyer. I'm done. I hung up. He tried to call back 4 to 7 times that night. I didn't answer. The next 2 months were brutal. David tried everything. Denial. Anger. Bargaining. He sent flowers with a note. I made a mistake. Let's talk. I sent them back with my own note. Talk to Patricia Morrison, my attorney. She's very interested in discussing the $12,340 in community property you spent on your girlfriend. He tried to get to me through friends, through my parents, through his parents. His mother called me crying. Rachel, please. David made a mistake, but marriage is about forgiveness. Mrs. Martinez, I said calmly, did David tell you the mistake lasted 3 years? People make mistakes. 3 years isn't a mistake. It's a choice. He chose Jessica over me every Tuesday and Thursday for 36 months. I'm choosing myself now. She stopped calling. Jessica and Marcus's divorce was messier. They had kids, twin boys, age 8. The custody battle was painful. But Marcus had the evidence. Jessica's own confession. Her own timeline. The judge was not sympathetic. Marcus got primary custody. Jessica got supervised visitation until she completed court-ordered therapy. My divorce went to trial. David contested everything. Asset division, spousal support, all of it. Patricia Morrison stood up in court with a binder 3 inches thick. Your Honor, the evidence shows a pattern of financial deception spanning 3 years. The defendant used community property to fund an extramarital affair, including $12,340 in documented expenses. Furthermore, the defendant coordinated with the paramour's spouse's travel schedule to facilitate the affair, demonstrating premeditation and intent. She presented the doorbell footage, the hotel receipts, the deleted texts we'd recovered, the pies photos. David's lawyer tried to argue that adultery wasn't grounds for unequal division in Washington. You're correct, counselor, the judge said, but financial deception is, and the defendant's use of marital assets to conduct an affair constitutes financial harm to the plaintiff. I got the house. I got 70% of our savings. I got the Tesla, the one with the Deal 1 plates that had sat in Jessica's driveway so many Tuesday and Thursday nights. David was also ordered to pay my legal fees, all $47,000 of them. The IRS investigation came later. Turns out David had been claiming some of his client dinners as business expenses, but they weren't client dinners. They were dates with Jessica. Tax fraud. Federal crime. His lawyer is still dealing with that. Marcus and I didn't become friends. Exactly. But we became something. Allies who'd been through the same war. We have coffee sometimes. Compare notes on healing. His twins are in therapy. His in therapy. His selling the house. Too many memories. And moving closer to his sister in Oregon. Do you regret it? He asked me last week. The alliance? Going scorched earth. Do you? He thought about it. No. They planned this together. They coordinated their betrayal. It's only fair we coordinated our response. Exactly. Jessica moved to California. I don't know what happened to her career, her life. I don't follow her on social media. I don't ask about her. She's a ghost to me. A person who existed in a chapter I've closed. David tried to reach out once, about 6 months after the divorce finalized. Left a voicemail. Rachel, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I need you to know that what happened with Jessica, it wasn't about you. You were perfect. I was the one who was broken. I deleted it without finishing. I'm sitting in my house right now. The house I fought for. The house that's entirely mine. I repainted David's office. Turned it into my design studio. The walls are coral now, my favorite color. He always said coral was too feminine for a home office. There's a new coffee shop that opened in the neighborhood. The owner, Sam, is kind. Makes a perfect cappuccino. Doesn't ask about my marriage or why I live alone in a 4-bedroom house. Yesterday, he asked if I wanted to grab dinner sometime. I said yes. Not because I'm ready for a relationship, but because I'm ready to say yes to things I want. That's what the last year has taught me. The alliance, the evidence, the divorce. It wasn't about revenge. Not really. It was about refusing to let someone else's choices define my worth. It was about looking at a betrayal so calculated, so sustained, and saying, "You don't get to do this to me," and walk away unscathed. It was about two people who'd been deceived finding each other in the worst moment and deciding to fight back together. Marcus texted me this morning. "The boys asked about you. Wanted to know if you were the nice lady who helped Daddy." I told them yes. "Thank you, Rachel." I texted back, "Thank you too. We saved each other." If you're reading this and you see yourself in my story, if you felt that moment of knowing, that sick certainty when the lies finally crystallize into truth, I want you to know something. You're not crazy. You're not paranoid. And you're not alone. Trust your gut. Document everything. And don't be afraid to ask for help, even from the most unexpected places. Sometimes the person you need most is going through the exact same thing 3 houses down. I'm Rachel Martinez. I'm 34 years old. I'm divorced, vindicated, and finally, completely free. The insomnia went away, by the way. I sleep through the night now. Turns out I was never the problem. If this story resonated with you, drop a comment. Tell me, would you have knocked on that door? Would you have built the alliance? And if you're keeping secrets or ignoring red flags, maybe it's time to turn on some lights. Your truth is waiting, and it deserves to be heard. I'll see you next time.